During the quiet morning hours of November 13th, 2022, a faceless coward breached the tranquility of 6 beautiful young people and senselessly slaughtered them. Who committed this unspeakable evil was unknown for several weeks. The person that slid through that sliding glass door at 1122 King Road now stands before the world unmasked. This unfathomable and senseless act of evil has caused immeasurable pain and loss. Welcome to University of Murder. In our first season, 4 Dead in Idaho, we are documenting the senseless murder of 4 innocent students at the University of Idaho: Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. You'll be taken deep into the case with details about the students' lives in the days and hours leading up to the horrible crimes committed against them. Step-by-step details about how the crimes were committed, the police investigation leading up to the arrest of the murderer, Bryan Kohberger, details about Kohberger's troubled past, the state of Idaho's prosecution against Kohberger, and everything else you need to know up to the present day. You ever visit a college town so perfectly tucked away it feels like nothing bad could ever happen there? Moscow, Idaho is that place. Golden wheat fields, cozy houses, the sound of marching bands drifting on a crisp November breeze. On November 12th, 2022, the University of Idaho Vandals were gearing up for their last home game. High stakes, big crowd, but even bigger plans for that Saturday night. In Moscow, it doesn't really matter if the team wins or loses, because win or lose, there's always booze. Greek life runs deep here. Nearly a quarter of students are in a frat or sorority. Rush, formals, parties. That weekend, campus was buzzing. But when Sunday rolled around, so did the hangovers. By early afternoon, students were crawling out of bed, grabbing coffee, piecing together the night before. And then, at 2:04 p.m., everyone's phones went off. A vandal alert, the kind you never want to see. Homicide investigation, King Road, no suspect. Shelter in place. Confusion. Rumors. Somebody must have drunk themselves to death, right? King Road, purely residential. Rental houses, apartment buildings, the morning after vibe all year long. Couch on the porch, Christmas lights in August. At the top of the hill, 1122 King Road, a big, boxy 3-story party house, the house everyone knew. By Sunday afternoon, yellow police tape wrapped around it like a horror movie set piece. Speculation went nuclear. Students texting roommates, "Are you okay? What happened?" A platform called Yik Yak, anonymous posts pinging around town. At first, just an accident, they said, but by nightfall, the whispers turned sinister. 4 students, stabbed to death. A man in black, no suspect, no weapon. 4, not 1. Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, Ethan. Young, bright, impossibly normal. And Moscow, Idaho, America's new true crime obsession overnight. Who were they? Why them? And how does someone slip inside a house with 6 people? The cops said almost nothing. Reporters parachuted in. FBI vans rolled up. TikTok detectives hit record. Meanwhile, King Road stayed frozen in time. Pink cowboy boots still propped in a window. A neon sign over a bed still glowing, "Good vibes." Kaylee's room. Meticulous, fake vines, taped up inspo quotes. She was weeks away from graduation. A silver Range Rover parked outside. A job lined up in Texas. Her best friend since 6th grade, Maddie, lived just across the hall. Ride or die, sisters in everything but DNA. They'd gotten their driver's licenses together, gone to prom together, and now here they were, about to step out into real life. Xana lived downstairs, the sweetheart, the peacemaker, queen of borrow your sweatshirt and never give it back. If the cops came knocking about a noise complaint, Xana opened the door, always polite. Ethan, Xana's boyfriend, 6'4" teddy bear with a stubborn mustache and a heart the size of Idaho. He was a triplet, his brother and sister right there on campus with him. He was the big brother glue. 1122 King Road was a revolving door for friends, but not strangers. If you were there, you belonged there, or you were invited by someone who did. On the night of November 12, 2022, everything felt normal. 4 college students, Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, We're winding down a classic vandal game day. Tailgates turned into parties, parties into bar crawls. Just a typical Saturday night, until it wasn't. Kaylee and Maddie, the inseparable best friends, were seen at their favorite bar, the Corner Club, just off Main Street. They were regulars there, knew the bartenders, knew the scene. Security footage from 1:30 a.m. shows the two girls leaving the bar, walking with a friend. A guy later confirmed to be harmless, just a friend. In the video, Maddie is wearing an oversized coat, clearly not hers, sleeves dangling past her hands. She's laughing, giddy. You can even hear her say, "I told Adam everything." Sounds ominous now. But Adam? Just a bartender, totally unrelated. From the bar, their next stop was a local staple, the Grub Truck. Now here's where this story feels eerie. The Grub Truck runs a Twitch live stream. Yeah, like gaming Twitch, but for tacos. You can actually watch Kaylee and Maddie wait in line, order pasta, giggle, take selfies. Kaylee records Maddie. They're glowing. And this is the last time the world saw them alive. They hop into a rideshare and head back to the house on King Road. It's around 2 a.m. At almost the exact same time, Xana and Ethan, the couple downstairs, are walking home too. Ethan had just come from his sister's sorority formal. He met Xana at a party at his frat house, Sigma Chi, just down the road. Short walk, familiar path. By 1:45 a.m., all four of them were back inside 1122 King Road. Kaylee probably let her golden doodle Murphy out. She and Maddie stayed up talking, calling Kaylee's ex-boyfriend Jack, 7 times to be exact. He didn't pick up. They'd broken up recently but were still close. Meanwhile, downstairs, Xana orders DoorDash. Food arrives at around 4 a.m., totally normal for her. Friends say that was her signature move, 4 a.m. Snacks. Then, at approximately 4:12 a.m., according to police, someone entered the home. We know what happens next, not from a witness, but from small haunting fragments. One of the two surviving roommates was awake. She hears what she thinks is Kaylee playing with the dog. Then she hears a voice. There's someone here. She opens her door. Nothing. Later, crying. Another voice, male. It's okay, I'm going to help you. Again, she opens her door. This time, she sees him. A man. Dressed in black, face partially covered, only his eyes visible. And one detail sticks with her. Bushy eyebrows. He walks past her, right out the back sliding door, like a ghost. She locks her door, and then, nothing. That was around 4:17 a.m. For the next 8 hours, the house is silent. No 911 call, no police, just silence. Sunday morning, November 13, 2022. Friends of the women who lived at 1122 King Road began texting, then calling asking questions. But no one inside the house was responding. Sentiment on campus was not to jump to conclusions or panic. We can figure it out, right? Despite all the hopes and cautious optimism, the reality was actually worse than they could have imagined. 4 victims, their classmates, lay dead inside the home. The surviving roommates saw their friends' cars still parked outside, texted them, no response. We don't know whether they tried to go into the rooms, but we do know they called over some friends to help. The 911 call reveals a chaotic scene at the King Road house.
911 location of your emergency.
Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
And tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night.
Okay. I have already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. If there's a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
Do you have a defibrillator? Yes, you have one.
Are you talking to the officer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to let you go since he's there with you and can help you.
This wasn't just someone passed out from a hard night of partying. It was a brutal crime scene. Multiple stab wounds, defensive injuries, a lot of blood. How could the initial report be so far off? Sources say the crime scenes were contained. No trail of blood, no screams heard. The house looked normal until it wasn't. From the beginning, the authorities refused to release the 911 audio, refused to say who made the call, refused to explain the delay. In Idaho, police can withhold 911 records if they believe it protects an investigation, and they did. In fact, the 911 audio wasn't released until nearly 3 years after the killings. In the meantime, the absence of information led to fevered speculation. The community began developing its own opinions on how it could have happened. Were the roommates somehow involved? Why did so much time pass before 911 was called? All of Moscow had so many questions. One question the police did answer was that the surviving roommates were not suspects. It was the least they could do to avoid further victimization of the survivors. Beyond that, silence. For the victims' families, for reporters, for an entire town, it was like yelling into a void. By Monday, the mayor was doing Zoom interviews. But otherwise, local reporters were scrambling. The most that the police would divulge was a brief press release. That's it. Finally, after 3 days, a press conference. But Police Chief James Fry had little to say. And when he said that there could still be a threat that they didn't know, the public reacted exactly how you would expect. At first, they said the town was safe. Then they weren't sure. Without answers, the internet stepped in, and it got ugly. TikTokers, Redditors, YouTubers, Facebook sleuths, everyone had a theory, everyone had a suspect. Students were falsely accused, professors, neighbors, even Kaylee's ex-boyfriend, all caught in the crosshairs of a story they didn't ask to be part of. Social media only made things worse. People were taking things way too far, even tweeting accusations at the families of innocent people. Things were quickly getting out of hand. The 2 surviving roommates left campus and didn't return. They faced constant harassment online. Their experience has them afraid to leave their homes. On top of that, they constantly battle survivor's guilt. Meanwhile, the rumor mill kept turning. Accusations against innocent professors, theories about stalkers and chloroform. Things got so bad that the professor was forced to file a defamation lawsuit against their accuser. Even a self-proclaimed psychic posted 20 TikToks about a woman who police said was not involved. True crime is everywhere now. But what happens when investigation becomes entertainment? This wasn't a Netflix series. These weren't characters. They were real people in a real town living a real nightmare. To the internet, this is entertainment. To the people of Moscow, Idaho, it was trauma. Even the police couldn't keep up. They added a rumor control section to their website and issued warnings. Online harassment could lead to criminal charges, but the theories kept coming. Moscow, Idaho Police Chief James Fry had never dealt with anything like this. Neither had his small-town police department, but nearly 3 weeks after the murders, police still had no suspect. Frustration grew. People wondered, could this small-town force solve a quadruple homicide?
Do you have the resources that you need? We do have the resources. It is an incredible outpouring of what we receive from the Idaho State Police and from the Federal Bureau of Investigations and Lake County. Anything we ask for is given. So at any time, if we need additional, all I have to do is call the colonel, and he will provide that. He's already guaranteed me that, and I know the FBI has said the same thing.
Inside the King Road house, officers faced a disturbing scene. 4 students stabbed to death. No forced entry, no obvious motive. It took hours to process the scene. This wasn't just a murder site, it was also a college party house. Fingerprints, DNA, red Solo cups, pizza boxes. What was evidence and what was noise? First floor, empty room, surviving roommate. Second floor, Xana and Ethan's room. Third floor, Maddie and Kaylee together in one bed. There was a lot of blood. It was a traumatic scene. Police found a single, chilling clue, a knife sheath left behind next to Maddie's body. That knife sheath contained DNA, not much, but enough. At the same time, surveillance footage caught a white Hyundai Elantra circling the neighborhood. Police began tracing phone records. One phone stood out. It had been near the house at the time of the murders, then disappeared, then came back. This wasn't just a theory. Police believed they had a suspect. They just didn't know his name. Yet. As weeks passed, victim families, like Kaylee's father, Steve Goncalves, grew desperate. He was desperate for the police to be more aggressive in their investigation. For example, they could give amnesty to students who may have relevant information, like party photos where the students are drinking underage. It was far more important to catching the killer than to prosecute every little petty crime committed by students on a college campus. His pressure worked. Police began publicly urging students to share footage, no matter what was in the background. Still, no suspect. Until one major clue finally dropped. The police announced that they were looking for a white Hyundai Elantra, model years 2011 to 2013. It was the first real indication that the police had some kind of solid evidence leading them in the killer's direction. Tips flooded in, so many that the FBI stepped in to manage the tip line. In Pennsylvania, 2,500 miles away, a white Elantra caught investigators' attention. It belonged to Bryan Kohberger, a PhD student in criminology. Authorities tracked him, watched his movements, waited. Then they searched his family's trash and got a familial DNA match. We're talking 99.9998% certainty that the DNA on the knife sheath belonged to the son of the man whose DNA was in the trash. On December 30th, in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, Bryan Kohberger was arrested. He was extradited to Idaho. In court, he wore a bulletproof vest. His family sat crying in the front row. As he left the courtroom, Kohberger looked back and mouthed, "I love you." January 5th, 2023, the probable cause affidavit was unsealed. It was 19 pages long. Key details emerged. A roommate had seen a masked man with bushy eyebrows inside the house. A neighbor's camera picked up a loud thud at 4:17 a.m. Prominence and DNA from the knife sheath matched Kohberger directly after testing. Also detailed, Kohberger's cell phone pinged near the crime scene, not just on the night of the murders, but again the next morning. Had he come back to check his work? Coming up in the next chapter of University of Murder, 4 Dead in Idaho, we will turn back the clock and explore the childhood and upbringing of Bryan Kohberger. What possibly could have happened to turn him into the monster who inexplicably committed these heinous crimes? Did he always have a weird incel vibe, or is that a more recent development? We will then turn to the state of Idaho's prosecution of Kohberger, which was anything but straightforward, as well as how Kohberger's defense team managed to score some early victories in the case. How close did we come to witnessing Idaho's trial of the century? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to see the conclusion of this season. Beyond the next chapter of this story, we will discuss the dramatic turn of events that led to Kohberger pleading guilty in a Boise courtroom. And you definitely won't want to miss the powerful victim impact statements made by the families of the victims, including the absolutely stunning takedown of Kohberger by Kaylee Goncalves' sister, Alivea. University of Murder is all about crime on campus. If there is a college killing you'd like us to explore, let us know in the comments. We look forward to seeing you again for episode 2.